Hey, what's up, what's up, what's up? It's your boy X, Spiritual Excellent Experiences. Welcome, welcome, Wakanda forever. Oh, um, I actually started a video yesterday, similar to what we're going to discuss today, but the spirit was just like, yes and no. Do that again. Same concept, different. Yeah, something different. It was just something missing from it. Because after I did it, I was just like, I don't know. It's like it was just a piece missing. Well, the piece arrived. Well, for those of you who don't know, and just reminder for those that have been following, been hooked on a show called Once Upon a Time. Now, the thing that I love most about this TV series on Netflix is the fact that they take Disney movies, which a lot of us grew up on, and made it in a realistic form, like relatable to today's life and society standards, and how if something like that was to happen right here, right now, in this day and time, how people would react to it, these situations that will come about, the circumstances, and just all the environmental and external and emotional factors, and even the technology and everything evolved. Um, huh? That's funny. Just realize something. Okay. Anyhow, anywho, so wow. Okay. But what I do like most about the show, besides how they were able to uniquely and geniusly illustrate how it would be to live in a fairy tale world in today's life, it it also reestablishes the connection that we have with our inner child, the connection we have with ourself, our authentic original self. Because just going through life and going through what it is that we are accustomed to going through on a normal day-to-day basis, and the extreme all the way to the very slight conditioning of norms that we hold in our various cultures, our various societal standards, our various ways of being, just being, of living day-to-day lives. It really doesn't matter where you are, what background, what ethnicity, what language you speak, the color of your skin, your mental thoughts, whatever, because we all experience this. you know, I've said this, quite often. It's not nature versus nurture. It's literally a combination of the both nature and nurture. Nurturing. If we go back to Pavlov and we go to his experimentation that he did with the salivating dogs, or even who did the one with the baby? What the baby name was? Fred. It was. Um, like, the little picture of the baby was so cute, and I was like, y'all named him that. But okay, anywho, people have to name their babies what they want to name their kids. But I was just like, he didn't really look like, maybe he grew up to look like a George or something. I think it was like Baby George or something. Forgot the baby's name. Um, but which one of the great psychologists did that? I'm gonna tag the salivating dogs, and this one that I'm talking about. It really just skipped my mind, and it's like, it's one of those things that I know who it is, and watch as I'm in the process of looking it up, or even before, I'll probably be like, that's who it is. That's who it is. But they in the salivating dogs, what they did was condition the dogs to every time a bell rang to have the dogs start to salivate. They wanted to. It was experimentation to see that if a sound or some sort of response could trigger a different response, a different reaction, a reaction that we want it to, of how we would want something or someone to respond. So what they did was they took the little dog food, put it in front of the dogs, but where they couldn't reach it, and rang the bell, and they kept doing it, over and over and over again, to the point that they were able to ring the bell, not put the food out, and the dogs would start salivating. Because the dogs are already getting excited, like, oh, well, the food's coming. By then, it had become a conditional response. The dogs don't even know that what was actually happening. They were just like, okay, oh, food. That means, and they were associating the bell sound with food, which then food causes that bodily reaction of salvation. So the food was more so the carrot to start to get the response to naturally come about. Because if they just would have rang the bell, the dogs wouldn't have been salivating. They would have been like, they would have looked, which is the original reaction is, okay, that's a nice bell. But they wanted the dogs to respond in this way. So they conditioned them in a way to get them to respond in this manner. Now, with the baby, I think his name was Baby George. Now, with the baby, this poor little baby, and this is why when this is why we have to sign waivers and things of that when we are involved in some type of study, because back in the day, it's not that they were trying to be unethical. It's not that they were really really into their passion and love for science and really trying to make the world a better place. That but our intentions are not usually come across to be the best thing. Our intentions, we can have the intention of doing something else, and somebody or someone could take it and completely turn it 120 degrees around. You're like, that's not what I was saying. I just shared this information, and you took it completely the other way. That's not what I was. Okay, but it happens. It happens. But that's the beautiful curse of communication. It's the fact that it is so wide and so grand and so vast that, and different things are interpreted in different ways, even just off of something as slight as body language and hand movements in various cultures. That's why I'm really being more aware of hand movements and things of that. But that's something that I've always, but I took it to account, but not as much as I do now. Because in my environment where I am now, I'm in a whole nother area. So I have to become accustomed to the culture in the area that I'm in. And not just be like, oh, well, I'm from here and this is how we do it here. And then, no, you're like, yeah, but now you're here. So, gotta do what do. But it's a part of growing, it's a part of learning, it's a part of evolving, it's a part of like, oh, you know what? Didn't know I had this in me. Didn't know that, this was something that people, were acknowledged, on a day-to-day basis and things of that. So, but to go back, with the baby, I know we went a little bit off on a tangent, but with the baby, basically they wanted the baby to fear mice. And not just, any mice, but okay, no. They wanted the baby to fear the color white. So they used a white mouse. Now, of course, when they introduced the baby to the white mouse, like a baby, like not fully, can't really talk and form sentences, baby. And of course, the baby's like, oh. And what do most babies want to do? Pick it up and eat it. No, the baby didn't eat the mouse. That's not what I'm saying. But he probably was over there trying to, play with it. And I mean, come on now, babies want to put everything in their mouth. They want to taste everything, everything. You can put a baby on the floor. Like my son will crawl up, and one time I look down and I see him about to go. Like, dude, you're not about to taste my toe. Like, what is going on here? Babies, man. Babies. Like, I was just chilling. I just have to look down like, dude. So then it just makes you think, like, what did I do as a infant? Just, what your parents like, so you're not telling me. Like, what kind of weird stuff that you guys had to look at when I was a baby? Just go. And laugh that y'all secretly laugh at behind my back now. But yeah. He was sitting there playing with the mouse. But what they started to do was anytime the mouse came out, they would cause some sort of stimulus of pain, like pinch the baby. Or, it started off like pinching. I actually had 2 different psychology classes. One said pinching, one said that they had the mice bite the little baby. So I have to differentiate between. So we'll just say a pain agent was initiated. Yes, I've seriously heard it in 2 different versions, and we're going to sort out which one is which. But I'm going to tag a good link below. And to the point where the baby, where every time he seen the mouse, like, he like, well, no, this thing causes me some type of pain. To the point where it got so bad that the baby was so traumatized that anytime the baby seen the color white on anything, a person, another animal, like, the baby would literally automatically start crying. And that initially was what they wanted. Now, they didn't think that it was going to cause trauma, long-lasting trauma to the baby. That's not what they were trying to do. They were trying to see, experimentation to see if they can get a certain reaction based off of certain stimuli to condition this response. Now, why'd I go around those 2 stories for this? Because we're conditioned as people walking around on a day-to-day basis, whether it's through the TV shows we watch, the video games we play, the music we listen to, the people we choose to hang around, the things we read, the places we live, the language we speak, the things that we're taught, things that we believe, the things that we do within ourselves and to ourselves and to others, and the things that we reflect out, and all of it. It's a form of conditioning. And I know you're like, I know some people might be like, okay, well, like, going on the outside, how will that be conditioning to well, it's also conditioning to us, because depending on the response when we do something, and it is towards something external to us, depending on that response, if that response is favorable, then we're going to keep projecting whatever that is. If the response is not favorable, and that's why I say favorable and not favorable, because what's favorable and what's unfavorable depends upon each individual. It depends on you. Something favorable, somebody getting like, arousing excited on somebody that for somebody else might be like, oh, that scene is dramaful. That's favorable for them, for the other person, for the other person it's unfavorable. So, it depends on who you are. We all have that the free will to be who it is that we are. We are here to be our authentic selves. And, you know, everybody plays the bad guy at one point in time in our lives, whether intentionally or unintentionally. It's just what is in your true authentic nature. And every storybook, and there is a balance. There is a form of a balance. Where there's good, there's bad. Where there's light, there's dark. Is having that free will choice and deciding which one am I going to align myself with. Now, with Once Upon a Time, with this TV series, the fact that they do bring back that initial spark of a childhood memory through going through the Disney movies and the fairy tale storybooks that we're accustomed to knowing and growing up with. Like, I can even say right now in this day and age, kids aren't able to go to school and really indulge in things like that. I remember, and why not sure. Well, I get it. I understand. In the world that we are in today, there's a need for education. Educational push. We are, so to speak, competing with everybody else in the job market when we put ourselves out there. But also at the same time, it's a help to release stress. Sitting down, going to school, and finding out that we get to watch a reading rainbow today. It's like, yes, because to the kid, we're like, yes, we can do something fun. To the teachers, like, haha, gotcha, because you're still learning. Like, we knew that we were learning something, but it didn't feel like it. Or Bill Nye the Science Guy. It was like, yes, Bill Nye. Or Beekman's World. The Magic School Bus. I'm so happy that the Magic School Bus is back. Like, my son sits down and watches the ad. He absolutely loves it. Because it's the Magic School Bus. Like, who doesn't like a Magic School Bus that could turn into anything? Anything? Anything. It's the Magic School Bus. And this is Miss Frizzle. Who don't like Miss Frizzle? But, like, he's having a good time. But that's little information that's being conditioned in him so that when he does go to school and something comes up, he's going to be like, what? That was in the Magic School Bus. Dude, so wait, I was learning something? I was sitting here being entertained, laughing and goofing, and I was actually learning something? Like, wait, so learning is fun? So this can be fun. Well, hold on, let me go back and watch some more Magic School Bus. Or Schoolhouse Rock. I don't know not one kid that didn't like Schoolhouse Rock. Conjunction junction, what's your function? Yo, I'm just saying. But also at the same time, we were learning things. And just like I remember that song to this day. The last time I watched that, I was in the 4th grade. I'm grown. I don't even remember what year it was. I was in the 4th grade. Well, 3rd grade was the year that Lion King came out. So I've seen it at the movie theaters. Yeah, that was very impactful for me. As well as Little Mermaid. I was in 2nd grade. That was the first movie. The first movie I saw at a theater. Lion King was 2nd. Okay. I remember that. I remember that. So, not having to watch that for years and still remember it. Lamb chops, bananas in pajamas, the big comfy couch, and it was lessons in all of those that actually taught us, like, especially Eureka's Castle. That was one of my favorites, because there was Dragon and there was Tail, and Tail will always try to convince Dragon to, like, do things that Dragon knew he wasn't supposed to do. It's like, well, Eureka said don't do this until, or, some of his other buddies. And but that teaches us to realize, like, these are things that could come up in our lives on a day-to-day basis, and it starts as a child. You're going to have friends that's going to try to persuade you to go down this way or that way, when we have to listen within ourselves and be like, oh, okay, and you know what, that might not be right for me, or, that was told that no, I shouldn't go do that. And having that power to stand in, our truth, and really do what it is that is right for us, which we all have that free will. And as a kid, we practice that free will choice. We practice that self-confidence. Like, it's essentially all practice, a preparation to get us to how we're going to handle ourselves in the real world, in as an adult, when things that we do can no longer be looked at like, okay, well, you were just a child. If you steal a car as a minor, when you turn 18 and you steal a car, completely different reaction. And even now, because young adults are maturing so quickly, but I mean, look what they have. Like, unfortunately, we are in a world where it's like, okay, well, kids have to grow up quick. Enjoy your youth and enjoy your childhood. Go trick or treating. Go to Chuck E. Cheese. Don't worry about the little drama and TV shows that's on TV, and Teen Moms and all. No, like, don't worry about any of that. Don't worry about it. Go be a kid. Go have fun. Go play ding dong ditch. I don't know. I'm not saying do that, because you consider trespassing on certain property and stuff. So don't. If you live in the neighborhood, you might just upset you Mr. George or something. But no, like, go out, play freeze tag. I mean, get some water guns and have a block party full of water guns. I barely see children outside playing, and yeah, we hear, okay, well, the world's a dangerous place. The world has always been a dangerous place. But I'm also not going to keep my child in a bubble because how other people choose to act. Then that's giving away that power to them. That's letting them take over, essentially. Even though it's like, well, no, I'm keeping them safe and out of harm's way. But that's also giving them permission to be like, okay, well, yeah, y'all gonna keep your kids in the house anyway, so that gives me, I still get to do whatever it is that I want. Either way it goes, I win. That's how they're thinking about it. To go in neighborhoods and not see children on bikes and just see a pile full of bikes, and knowing that every child in the block is at that house, or seeing water guns, or really having to drive down the road and really look, because at any given second a child could come out. It's having that. Like, we go back to the movie Now and Then. Another great movie. And it was getting back to not really growing up. They were at that age where high school age, wanting to, be more mature and wondering and being more involved in dating and things of that nature, and really getting into that aspect of their lives. But it was also still remembering, like, they had a couple scares. It's like, okay, well, wait a minute, we are still kids. Like, why are we worried about, this and that? And they had, some things and events that happened in the course of that movie that shot them back. Like, wait a minute, I'm not going to be this young forever. I am going to grow up. So why am I sitting here kind of rushing it? And it does, and it plays a hand. I know I done went from one movie to another, but bear with me. It all makes sense. With Once Upon a Time being the basics of all of this, is just the simple fact of having that thing, having something there that always reminds us of our childhood self, is a way to always bring us back to our true authentic selves, our true authentic nature, because we are at our most rawest form as a child, because everything that we could possibly embody that's within us that could be seen as negative or flawed or things to work on, and everything that is a strength and is positive and is really should be encouraged about us. We're going to see it all at 100% full capacity as a child. For those of us who are parents, we see it on a day-to-day basis, especially in between the ages of like 5 and 8. Like, you see the whole perspective and picture, and you feel it all too. And it's like, wow, like, you're just, it's okay. Now we have to, be like, okay, well, a little less of this, a little more of this, a little less of this, a little more of that. Okay, let's rearrange this jigsaw puzzle here to the point. And then as they grow up and, as adults, then we, take that jigsaw puzzle and actually turn it into a 1,000-piece puzzle spread, and it looks all pretty and all the little pieces and fit together and all the stuff. Now, sometimes, we be like, what, that piece don't go there, and we got to move the stuff over there, It's like putting a $100,000 piece puzzle together. My best friend does stuff like that. I stop at like 500. That's my limit for right now. Might branch up to 1,000, but 500, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna leave it right there. But just with Once Upon a Time, there's so many lessons within the Disney movies, the original, the cartoon versions, that they were able to incorporate into this show, to the point where as adults that same principle is applied as far as being conditioned. And which is why it is important to watch the things that we ingest in our lives, whether it is food, whether it is movies, music, whether it is a certain environment, whether it is a habit, whether it is a mindset, because these things will begin to, they're dropping seeds. And then we essentially the caretaker of our reality. We're watering these seeds, and you may just want to water this one seed, but because this other seed was dropped so close to that, inevitably we could start watering that one, and we knew that seed was a weed, or we didn't even know what that seed is. We didn't even see the seed being dropped. We just trying to water the seed over here, and then we start getting another. We like, well, what plant is this? Sometimes it's a good surprise. Like, hey, awesome, I got an apple tree. And sometimes it's just a big old weed, and you just like, okay, I gotta clear this up. Let me get some Roundup or something. And that comes to play in so many different factors, so many different ways in our lives. Like, especially when it comes to relationships. I mean, any type of relationship, any type of correlation we have to another human being outside of ourselves. We have moments where things come up that we are all placed in everybody's lives for a reason. Everybody is placed in our lives for a reason. And we're there to be able to create a sense of change within ourselves internally and externally and vice versa. So even in a public place, we coming across people, and just us being that person walking around smile, you could have unknowingly impacted 15 people around you and not even know it, just because you have a smile. Have you ever seen somebody just walking and being happy and they have no idea that you're watching them, and it literally changed your mood? That's the same effect that we can be doing to our outside environment and be completely unaware of it. If somebody can do that for you, why couldn't you do that to somebody else? And even more in a sense of romantic relationships, or even, I won't say, okay, let's not say romantic relationships, but close relationships, people we form bonds with, our friends, our co-workers, our parents, our partners. We really challenge each other. We really truly challenge each other. And it does play, the ones that we allow to challenge us the most are the ones that we essentially trust the most. But to a certain extent, because as soon as we feel as if there's been some type of line cross, that brings up, not the fact that we can't necessarily trust them, but the fact that we don't necessarily trust ourselves, because to trust somebody else that we choose to put into our lives is saying that, okay, well, I trust that I have made a good decision within my life with putting this person in my life. Now, where trust issues tend to come up later on is the fact that if these people, that who we trusted through trusting ourselves, betray us, they let us down, they make a mistake, and that brings in forgiving and apologizing. Essentially, we don't forgive and we don't apologize for that outside gratification, or for that person to acknowledge and be like, hey, yes, okay, good job, because you may not get that. You may not get an apology back, and you may not, if you say sorry, you may not get that, hey, it's okay back. But it's knowing that, hey, you know what, I stepped up, I did what it is that I had to do for me, because it's not for anybody else outside of me, but for me. I'm not apologizing to make myself feel better. I already feel better. But I'm apologizing because I'm mature enough to be able to confront whatever it is that I did wrong, that I have now realized, that was wrong, and I need to correct that, or already have correct that, or are presently working on it, all at different levels. And we don't forgive anybody, so then that person can be like, okay, woo, yes, glad I got that off my back. I ain't gotta know. We forgive for ourselves, so we don't keep having to put ourselves through that same mental torture and hurt and pain and grief and sorrow that person has placed us in the first place. Because while We could not, by all means, we have those free will choices in all of this here. By all means, we could not and just be like, hey, okay, you know, let me check time. Hey, okay, yeah, well, they're doing that, and I'm just gonna be over here looking mad. They over there living life, but I remember when that person did this, and every time you see that person, we keep going back to that same old story, that same old story, that same old story. We're giving away our power to that person, and that person at this point is not even trying to take our power. Or they could even care less at the fact that they are still taking our power because they live in their life. They ain't say sorry. Maybe they don't feel like they need to say sorry. All right, well, but it's still within ourselves to be like, you know what? I'm standing in my truth. I'm taking my power back. You know what? Hey, they did whatever they did. All's well that ends well. And forgiving and move on for, what it is to help ourselves. To help ourselves. Now, not everything is easy to forgive and forget and move on. Now, also in the same breath, forgiving and apologizing does not mean that we have to accept this person back. It does not mean that we have to give this person another chance. We have to do what is best in alignment for us. Like somebody can essentially change, and we can really truly forgive about, okay, well, can I come, can I be your best friend again? Can I be your boo again? Can I, work here again? And it's essentially the fact of, okay, well, making a choice between what is really inauthentic with ourselves. Is for if you really like, yes, I'm supposed to give this another person a chance, or and go back and whatever, then hey, by all means. But if you choose to, you know what? I mean, yeah, no, I forgive you, and that's what now, because yeah, it's easy when it's on the other side and it's like, okay, yeah, you get to come back. But then when you're on the other side and it's like, okay, well, you can't. You're like, yes, I forgive you. Yes, you know what? Yeah, I see that you have changed. Good job. Awesome. But that don't mean we getting back together. It's hard for the other person to really understand that. Because, like, well, if I change, you forgive me, then you should give me another chance. Well, no, I shouldn't, because I have to do what's best for me. You feel I should, but it doesn't mean that I am obligated to. It doesn't mean I have to, because of how you feel. Now, that's how you feel, and by all means, allowed to feel however it is that you choose to feel, but it doesn't mean I feel that way, because I don't. If I did, obviously I would have said yeah. I'm not gonna be sitting here now unless you say yeah, and then are you trying to play like mind games or something? Like, no, that's not cool. You don't want that extra karma. Don't do that. But really being like, okay, well, no, it's just not in alignment with me. Man, you're getting hot. Yeah, it's actually chilly out, but y'all know what I'll be doing. Man, feeling like I'm doing cars right now. Okay, but it's and it's not doing anything out of spite. Like, oh yeah, well now I get to know. It's just by the time somebody has changed, or by the time somebody has came back, it's like, okay, well, yes, you know, but I'm here. Or, you know, now I'm just wholeheartedly not interested. Or, you know what, I feel as if that, you know, for me and my reality, you know, it is, you're there for a certain reason, for this transformation to happen and to go through all of that, but you're not here to really, you know, I thought, yeah, you know, even like, well, I thought you thought, you know, but yeah, then, but, you know, some change agents happen, had some awakening, had some enlightenment, you know, change is the only thing constant. Change took place. No hard feelings, you know, it's just that it's no longer in alignment with me. I'm no longer interested, and I can no longer be interested. It's not out of spite. It's not out of, it's not even for anybody else. You know, literally, not like, oh, well, no, I'm not interested because I got another. No, it's literally for me. No, it's just not. Took some deep introspection. Took me a while, and it's just like, you know what? Yeah. Oh, you know what? You know what? I'm thankful that you were in my life, because that never would have happened. I never would be where I am right now. And it's really staying true in ourselves, because yeah, I'm not gonna say, you know, in a situation like that wouldn't be difficult. I could say, have I been in a situation like that? No. Not saying that I wouldn't be, but that would, to still stand there and have somebody really just, because I just from my friends, because you know I'm sensitive with my heart, so it takes a lot for me to really give my heart away. So like with my friends, that really, like I said, I'm 33 years old and I can still kind of on one hand. How many times, and even out of that one hand, only truly giving my heart away a few times. And yeah, those few times, but growing, and oh yeah, well yeah, we always still growing, but woo, boy, I tell you, we grew so much. But just really sitting here and about friends, they're like, man, she ain't taking me back, man, and then they going back, and it's like, you complain about her not taking me back, but then you over here cussing her out with me. Well, obviously you ain't changed too much. Like, I don't understand what's going on. Did you really want to take them back? I mean, did you really want to go back? I mean, I don't. But you can't be mad. Because you do. This is your third time cheating. You know, it happens. But also, you know, it's doing, this plays a whole deal in what's really in alignment for us, and being able to stand in our own truth and having that sense of trust within ourselves. To bring everything in full circle, going back to one of the biggest things about aspects of the movie Once Upon a Time, is the fact that Emma went through a lot. And Neil, that's his name. With Neil, you know, the relationship happened, and then at the end, and then it's like, now it's like, oh, well, I want to, he's starting to kind of rekindle the feelings, but at the same time, she was like, you know what, I mean, I don't know, I gotta watch and see how it plays out on the movie, but everything happened in her life the way that it was supposed to happen, because if she didn't go through that hurt, she didn't go through that pain, she didn't go through all that, she wouldn't truly believe in the things that she now believes, you know, as the movie goes on, because it was through her own experiences of disbelief, and then falling into the belief through her own truth, through her own trust within herself, because when it came down to it, all she ever had was herself. You know, everybody else on the outside seemed to have left, or seemed to have caused some form of illusion. And even with, her son Henry, she wasn't trying to do that with him. She was she was trying to protect herself, and then in turn, hurt hurt him, but also at the same time, she's always had to protect herself and do nothing more than just protect and survive. And so moving out of that mindset and constantly being on a sense of awareness, like I can even speak from personal life, constantly being on alert, so to speak, as far as, okay, let me make sure this is together. Let me make sure, and it's not as far as paranoia. That's a whole nother ball game. I'm talking about, like, okay, make sure I have a rainy day fund. Making sure that I have 2 spare tires, because last time I had one, I ended up with 2 flat tires. Let me make sure that I have a backup babysitter for the backup babysitter. Because I'm used to calling in a time of need, and then this person didn't pick up the phone, and then the next person didn't pick up the phone. So now I found out that I need a third person just in case. Or let me make sure, and for one, that's draining. It's tiring. It's exhausting. And it does, to a certain extent, can take a good person and have them have a cynical outlook on the world, not because they're a bad person and they're cynical and they're no, but it's just through their experiences and the things that they have experienced. It seems as, which at first it was, okay, well, I can't trust nobody, but also at the same time that then bounce back within their own sense, like, well, man, the choices in the things that I've been making choices in, man, I can't trust myself, because every choice I seem to make seems to backfire or not come through. So now, well, man, can I not trust myself? Man, well, now I don't necessarily trust myself in making, which then cause like a fight or flight response, and it's a whole lot of things. But then we also are placed in an environment where different environments just throughout our life and different times to be able to come back, be able to have that sense and really sit down and go, okay, yes, I might have misplaced trust in other people who didn't have my my best outlook aware out for myself, but essential at the end of the day, the person that I did know that I can trust and rely on is myself, which is, whether it's, also with sense of faith through God, and, that center being of groundedness that's able to bring us back, spirit, source, Gaia, but even still, even when, like, it says in the movie, or in the song Pray For Me by Kendrick Lamar and The Weeknd, just in case my faith go, I live by my own law. At the very, very core of the thing of being within ourselves and having that truth within us and that trust within us, that, but at the end of the day, I trust myself that I'm going to make it through. I trust myself that I'm going to keep going. I trust myself in my choices that I'm going to need to make, even in crunch time, because I've always made it through it. I've always been able to overcome and overpower, regardless of what obstacle, regardless of what opposition, regardless of what barrier or mountain I have to climb. We fall down, we get up. Even angels learn how to fly. Fall 7 times, get up 8. Like, and those are just songs. But even still, even watching the show Once Upon a Time with Emma, seeing everything that she has gone through, and then all the mental and emotional, and her still being able to come to a sense of, man, I do believe in magic. Something where she had to, in everyday life was taught that, well, no, magic wasn't this and magic wasn't that. And her having that wishful thinking growing up, like, okay, well, you know what? Life can be fairy tales and this. And it pretty much got beaten out of her, so to speak, through experiences of life, of the hard knock life. And kind of getting to that point where she wasn't able to maintain that Annie type of mentality. Yeah, that's another good movie. Because even in the hardest times, like, she was still able to, and yeah, she felt sad sometimes and lost hope a little bit, but she was able to bring herself right back out of it. But also at the same time, there was somebody else that brought her right back out of it. And it was like, man, you know what? And even Annie, because Annie was so trusting and completely giving that, yeah, it landed her in a very good situation, but then it also landed her in a bad situation. She thought these people was her real parents and everything and all this other stuff, and child got kidnapped, And then those people, the people who really truly loved her, came back and was like, hey, we got you. Told you we got you. Yeah, I might not have did it, the right way or whatever, but look. And it's just beautiful. And it's even more powerful when something or someone can go from a place of not believing, can go from a place of having a certain type of mind frame imposed on them or conditioned through their environmental factors that then became internalized, that they're able to stand and walk in truth in something that is truthfully in alignment with them because they were on the other side. They know what it's like from firsthand experience. They was able to see the things, see the nightmares and the horrors, and feel the pain and feel the torture. Versus, someone who, it's those good empowerment stories, like seeing someone like Tyler Perry, where that's very inspiring. Like, man, this person was homeless and now look at them. And seeing where they are in life. And I was like, man, well, this person was this. Like, look at Oprah. We go all the way back to Brewster's Place. Start off on Brewster's Place. Now look at where she at. I'm just saying. Humble beginnings. And it's taking pride and value and never forgetting where it is that you came from, but also using that as a source of motivation and be like, I ain't going back there either. But I'm also going to help as many people as I can as long as they're willing to help themselves. Like, help is help. I'm not going to walk your walk for you, but I'll help you hop into the corner at least. I'll help you cross the street, I can't walk your walk to your destination, but I'll help you across the street. And be able to help as many people across the street as often as you can during that process, during that time as well. Just because, and yeah, there's also, well, you haven't made it, so how you going to show? Just because somebody hasn't made it somewhere either doesn't mean that they can't help somebody along the way. Like, just like crossing the street, just because I haven't made it to my destination doesn't mean I can't stop and help somebody get a little bit further to theirs. It doesn't mean that I have to already be at my destination to then be able to, okay, well, yeah, now I got my car, and I can go back and go help this person across the street. By the time you go back, they already been across the street. Somebody else already helped them across the street. Somebody else would have already had held that door open. Like, okay, well, yeah, let me go get my my table first, and I'm gonna come back hold the door open. That person was right behind you. extra 2 seconds, hold the door on open. You know? But yeah, I don't really know what I'm going to title this. Hmm. I'm not sure. But we'll see. But all right, y'all, 55 minutes. Whoo, 55 minutes. All right, so 55 minutes. I'm going to go ahead and upload this. I'm going to tag the, the experiments down there below. Feel free to like, share, subscribe. Everything's below in the drop box. And yeah, till next time.